When the prison gates closed behind him, everyone assumed the worst chapter of his life was finally over. He had done his time, paid his debt to society, and walked back into Texas heat with a shaved head, a folded release paper, and a promise he repeated to himself like a mantra. This time will be different. He told friends he wanted to focus on music. He told family he wanted peace. Online, he hinted at a comeback. Studio photos, cryptic captions, lyrics about survival and betrayal. But beneath the hopeful surface, something dark had been fermenting for years. The rapper had gone in angry and came out colder. Before prison, he was a small-time Texas rapper with a growing local buzz. Raw tracks about street loyalty, ambition, and grudges that never seemed to fade. He wasn't famous, but he was known in certain neighborhoods. People recognized his voice, his swagger, his temper. When legal trouble landed him behind bars, some thought it would humble him. Others feared it would only sharpen the blade. Inside prison, he replayed the past endlessly. The people he believed had wronged him. The moments he felt disrespected. The debts, real or imagined, that he felt had never been settled. While others counted days until release, he counted names. Every setback became proof that the world had conspired against him. And by the time he stepped out, he carried a quiet, simmering resolve. Someone was going to pay. The couple lived an ordinary life, the kind that rarely crosses paths with true crime headlines. They worked hard, shared routines, and spent weekends together. The Barber, an easygoing man with steady hands and an even steadier clientele, was part of their circle. He cut hair not just for money, but for community. His shop was where people talked, laughed, complained, and caught up on life. None of them considered themselves part of the rapper's world anymore. If there had been past tension, it felt distant, almost forgotten. But for the rapper, nothing had faded. Shortly after his release, people noticed changes. His social media posts grew darker. The lyrics he teased online were no longer about redemption, but retribution. He spoke in riddles about unfinished business and real justice. Some followers thought it was just music. Artists exaggerate, they vent. Others felt uneasy, especially those who knew his history. Still, no one imagined what was coming. The day it happened started like any other. The Texas sun rose hot and unforgiving. The couple ran errands, exchanged casual messages, talked about plans that would never happen. The barber opened his shop, greeted familiar faces, and picked up his clippers. Meanwhile, the rapper was already moving. Witnesses would later describe him as calm, too calm, focused, purposeful. He had a weapon, and he had a destination. Investigators believed the motive was revenge, though the exact trigger remains tangled in rumors, past disputes, and the rapper's own shifting explanations. Some say he blamed the couple for events that led to his incarceration. Others believe he felt disrespected, betrayed, or financially wronged. What's clear is that, in his mind, the past had demanded blood for far too long. When he confronted the couple, the situation escalated with terrifying speed. There was no prolonged argument, no chance for reason. Gunshots shattered the illusion of safety, turning a normal day into a nightmare. By the time neighbors realized something was wrong, it was already too late. The couple lay dead, lives erased in seconds by a man who believed he was settling scores. But the violence didn't end there. The barber became the third victim, killed shortly afterward in what authorities believe was part of the same revenge-driven rampage. Whether the barber was directly involved in the original conflict or simply associated with the couple remains a painful question. What's certain is that he never stood a chance. His shop, once filled with laughter and conversation, became a crime scene. Chairs overturned. Silence where music once played. 3 people were gone. 3 families shattered. As news broke, shock rippled through the community. People struggled to understand how someone fresh from prison, someone who had been given a second chance, could throw it away so violently. Online, the rapper's name surged into trending searches. Old posts were dissected. Lyrics were reread as warnings that everyone had missed. comment sections filled with disbelief, anger, and sorrow. Law enforcement moved quickly. The suspect didn't vanish into thin air. This wasn't a perfectly planned crime. Surveillance footage, witness statements, and digital trails painted a clear picture. When officers closed in, the rapper was arrested without incident. Gone was the bravado, replaced by the cold reality of what he had done. During questioning, his demeanor reportedly shifted between defiance and detachment. At times, he hinted that the victims deserved it. At others, he said very little. Investigators were left to piece together motive from fragments, past relationships, old messages, prison grievances, and a mind clearly consumed by resentment. For the families of the victims, explanations didn't matter. No motive could bring back a husband, a wife, or a beloved barber. Candlelight vigils appeared almost overnight. Photos of smiling faces, now memorial portraits, lined sidewalks and shop windows. Friends spoke of kindness, generosity, and dreams that would never be fulfilled. Children asked questions no one could answer. The barber shop remained closed, its door locked, its sign dark. Regular customers stood outside in silence, remembering the man who once asked about their families and listened to their stories. The couple's home became a place of mourning, not laughter. Birthdays, anniversaries, and future plans were reduced to memories. The case also reignited conversations about reentry after prison. How do we help people truly reintegrate? How do we identify those who leave incarceration more dangerous than when they entered? And how do we balance second chances with public safety? Many pointed out that prison alone does not heal anger. It often hardens it. As the legal process unfolded, the rapper faced the weight of his actions. The fame he once chased now came in the form of infamy. Headlines replaced mixtapes. Courtrooms replaced studios. And the lyrics he once used to process pain now echoed as evidence of a mindset steeped in violence. In the end, this wasn't a story about music or celebrity. It was a story about unresolved rage and the devastating cost of revenge. 3 innocent lives were lost because one man chose to let the past define his future. A second chance became a final catastrophe. True crime stories often ask the same haunting question. Could this have been prevented? In this case, the warning signs were there: anger, obsession, threats disguised as art. But hindsight offers clarity that the moment never does. What remains are grieving families, a scarred community, and a stark reminder that when revenge becomes a purpose, it destroys far more than its intended targets.